Do you think Git is just a tool that only the pros use? Well, not anymore. If you've ever lost a file because you accidentally overwrote it, or emailed yourself a project folder to keep it safe, it's time to meet version control. Git isn't just helpful in the programming world, it is essential. And GitHub, it's where your code gets a second home, backed up and ready to share with the world. In this video, I will be walking you through everything you need to get started with Git and GitHub, from zero to pushing your first project to the cloud like a pro. You will learn how to install Git, set up an account, generate your SSH keys, don't worry, I'll explain what that means, and connecting everything directly from your terminal. Plus, I'll show you some of the most useful Git commands you'll rely on every single day. Even if you've never touched the command line before, that's totally fine. Please check out the video in the last week about the terminal that might help you a little bit. This guide is built specifically for beginners who want a clear, no fluff explanation with real world steps. By the end of this video, you won't just understand what version control is, you will be able to confidently use Git and GitHub to manage your code like a true developer. Let's kick things off and get Git set up right now. Alright, so let's get Git on your machine. Step one is to head to git-scm.com. It's where we're at right now. This is the official website for Git. It should automatically detect your operating system, whether that would be Windows, Mac, or Linux, and suggest the correct installer for you, as we can see right over here. Click download and then run the installer. It could take a couple of minutes depending on your internet speed. For Windows, you just follow the installation prompts. I already have it set up, so I'm not going to do it this time. You'll see a lot of options, but don't panic. If you're unsure about anything, just go with the default settings. They are optimized for most users and will work perfectly fine for basic usage. So when you finish, launch your command prompt to test it out. And we can do this by opening command prompt. And we can simply type git, and it should show a list of commands here that are available. If you see this, it is installed properly. If you don't, leave a comment down below and I'll help you out. So once Git is installed, we can open up the terminal like we just did. If you actually want to see the version, we could do -- version to know on what version we are. In my case, I'm one version behind, but that's fine. Before moving on, let's configure your Git identity so your commits are properly tagged. So what this means is every time you add something to Git and you want to actually push it to GitHub, there should be a name there and an email that will be associated with that. So you want to set it up right away so that you don't have to do this later on. We can do this by typing git config and then -- global to make it a global registration, and then user.name. And then you would add your name in between these parentheses here. I have this done already, so I'm not going to do that. But you want to do that for user.name, and you also want to do it for user.email. Just add an email in here. This could be the one associated to your GitHub account. That's best practice, I think. So this tells Git who you are, and it's essential when collaborating with others. So please take a second to set this up the right way. So now you're officially ready to move on to GitHub. Alright, so now that Git is ready to go, we can go ahead and create our GitHub account. And this is the platform where your code will live online. So start by heading to github.com and click sign up in the top right here. Then over here we want to enter our email, password, username, and region if you want. And then just click create an account. You will be told about your experience level and preferences. You can skip these or fill them in if you'd like. They won't affect your actual GitHub experience a lot. Once your account is created, you will land on your GitHub dashboard. This is where you can create new repositories, or repos for short, view your projects, and collaborate with others. Before moving forward, let's take a minute to explore. Click on your profile icon in the top right, and then check out the settings tab. This is where you'll later add your SSH key and control access to your account. So now you have both Git and GitHub installed and ready. So next up will be connecting them securely using SSH. So you don't have to enter your username and password every time you push code to a repository or whatever. So let's set up right now, and it will only take a few minutes. Now let's securely connect your computer to GitHub using SSH keys. Like I just told you, this means that you don't have to enter your username and password every single time you push code. It's a one-time setup, so that saves you a ton of time in the long run. So to generate an SSH key, we want to go ahead and type this command right here, SSH-keygen, and then -t, and then ed24519. And then what this does is it just generates a new SSH key that we can then copy and paste into GitHub. So before we do that, in these parentheses or double quotes, we want to make sure we add an email that is associated with our GitHub account. So make sure you use the same one. So what this does is it will create a new SSH key using the provided email as a label. If you're prompted to enter a file in which to save the key, you can just press enter to accept the default location. Once you have done that, we can also go ahead and enter a passphrase. So I'll just go ahead and follow through this step with you guys. In here we can see that this is asking to enter file in which to save the key at the certain location. I have this blurred out, but just hit enter because that would be the default location. And then we can enter a passphrase to add some extra security to your account. You can do this. I'm just going to skip it for this one because I won't use this key anyway. Right, so the last step is to copy the SSH public key and post it to our clipboard so we can copy it over to the GitHub website and settings. So one way to do this is we can go ahead and come over to our CMD. We want to make sure we use command prompt for this and not the terminal, the Windows terminal if you followed our previous steps, because this command won't work in the terminal. So make sure we run CMD here. Then once we have done that, we can go ahead and use this command, clip, and then where the folder is .ssh, and then the file name here. Once we are in here, we want to make sure that we go to the settings where we are right now, and then we go to SSH and GPG keys, and then under SSH key we want to go ahead and add a title which you want, which is something you can choose yourself, and then make sure it is an authentication key, which should be default, and then go ahead and click add SSH key. And now this is added here, and now we don't have to go ahead and use the username and password every single time. One way to try this out, we can test the connection, for example. So if we go back to our command prompt, which I just got rid of, so I'll just have to do again. We can go ahead and type SSH-t git@github.com, and this should go ahead, and if you get shown this, just type yes. Now we can see right here, hi mark.dev, you successfully authenticated, but GitHub does not provide shell access. So that shows you that it works and that you have set it up correctly. Alright, so congratulations, your computer is now securely connected to GitHub. From now on you can push and pull code without typing your password every single time. This step trips up a lot of beginners, so if you got through it, that's a huge win for you. So now that Git and GitHub are talking to each other, let's create our first repository and push some code. Alright, so now it's time to do something real. So let's create a local repository, push it to GitHub, and make our first official commit. Don't worry if this sounds like a lot, I will be walking you through every single step. So first up, what we want to do is make a local project folder. In my case, I'll just keep it simple. So I will just make a directory, my first repo, and then I want to enter that repo as well. Then in here, we are going to turn this into a Git repository. So one way to do this is by typing git init, which basically just initializes Git inside of this folder, and it creates a hidden .git directory where all your version history will live. So for example, if we now print this out, we can't see anything because it is hidden So we can see it in doing this, but if we go to our file explorer here, then we will be able to see the .git folder right here. So now let's create a simple file. So let's go ahead and run this command right here, which will basically just be a README page, which will be the first page a user normally sees when they enter the GitHub repo. So what this does is this writes hashtag, which is basically markdown for a bold text, my first GitHub repo, and add it to the readme.md. So if you now check, we have a readme.md file that has been created with this text inside. Now what we can do is we want to check the status of our repo, which we can do by typing git status. And over here we can see that there are no commits yet, and there is one untracked file, which is the readme.md. This just means that Git knows the file is there, but it has not been added to version control yet. So now we want to go ahead and actually commit it to GitHub. So one way to do this is by adding the file to be tracked. So first up we do git add and then the readme. Now if you do git status again, we will see that the change to be committed has been added for the readme file instead of being untracked. So now it knows it's there, and now we just want to commit this to the repo, which we can do by typing git commit and then -m for the message pretty much, and then we will just say initial commit. Alright, so now this is added to Git on our PC, and now we want to make sure we create a repository on GitHub. We can do this by going to GitHub, clicking on new here, and we just want to name the repo. In my case, I'll just name it my first repo. And then we want to make sure and just go down. I'll keep it private for now. Create repository, and now we can see that this has been done. Now what we can do is we could have done this, which is basically what we just did before. Or if this was actually done through GitHub in the first place, we could have just committed this, or I mean copied this and then pasted it in the terminal, and then it would have done the steps we just did for us, but I just wanted to do it separately. So in our case, we will be using the second option here, which is to add the Git to our Git on the PC. So GitHub knows that Git repository that we have made right here is linked to this repo in the future. So then we want to make sure we rename the current branch to main, and then this sends our code to GitHub and sets the upstream branch so future pushes are easier. So let's copy this and let's just paste it in here. Alright, so that's it. You just created a Git repo, made your first commit, and pushed it to GitHub through the command line. So that's pretty much the workflow that developers use every single day. So from now on, when you make changes to your code, you could just go ahead and type git add dot, and this will add every single file in this document right here, or in the folder I mean, and then we want to make sure we commit it with a message if you want. So this would be the message, and then in this case there's nothing to commit, and then we want to make sure we git push to actually push it over to GitHub so you can see it on GitHub. So now that you have pushed your first repo, let's go over the git commands you will be using all the time. These aren't just nice to know, they will be your daily tools for working smarter and safer. So the first command here we'll be using is git status, which I shortly explained before. But this is pretty much your go-to command because it tells you what has changed, what's staged for commit, and what files are not being tracked yet. So run this often since it will keep you aware of what Git sees and what it doesn't see. Right, so next up is git add, which we just did as well to initialize the repo. This pretty much stages changes for the next commit. So if we were to git add and then an index.html file, for example, if it existed, we make sure that we stage that specific file. Or we could use git add and then a simple dot to stage everything that has changed. Then we have the git commit with a message, which could be, for example, if you worked on login, you could say add login form. This is basically just to keep track of what has changed, and basically think of this as a sort of save point for which you can revert to. Then another useful command is git log, which basically shows you the history of your commits. In my case, it also shows the author with the name we set and the email, which I will be blurring out here. But it's basically what we set up in the beginning of this tutorial. Then we have git diff, which basically is not working right now because we have to have made some changes to a README, for example, because this would show line-by-line differences between your working directory and the latest commit on Git. So use this before committing if you are unsure what has been altered. Right, so next up is git pull. This updates your local project with changes from GitHub or whatever remote you're connected to, which is essential when working with others, because if someone else changed something on the repo, you want to make sure you're always on the latest version of that repository or branch. So you always want to pull before you start working to avoid potential conflicts. Then last but not least, we have git push. This basically sends your commits from your local machine onto GitHub. We've already done this, but now it's second nature. If you ever switch branches or remotes, you might have to specify where to push. So for example, if we want to push to main, we would type git push origin main. So one pro tip, and also the last tip of this section, would be to make a gitignore file. Now gitignore file basically tells Git which files or folders they should skip. So this keeps sensitive data or clutter like packages or environment variables, so basically secret things like passwords, out of your repository, so it's not vulnerable to be seen if you have a public repository or even when a contributor is not supposed to see it. So you could do this by going into your root folder, so in my case the my first repo folder, and making a new file, which should not be a rich text file. It doesn't really matter what I click here, but it is a gitignore. So make sure it's .gitignore. And then we can just make this, and then we want to modify this. I just copied a simple template from a GitHub repo, which I will share in the comments as well. But this is basically saying that everything that is in the node modules folder, for example, is not to be committed because it's not needed. As well, for some testing stuff, I just copied this, so I'm not really sure what this all is. And also some environment variables. Now environment variables are usually where you store secrets, so basically passwords or usernames that the user should know. But that is for a future moment. So now if we were to save this, and say for example we added a .env file, we go in here and we do git add and then pretty much everything, we would see that the .env file has not been added because it is part of our gitignore. So this is very useful for your projects and should not be slept upon and should not be skipped even. These commands are the foundation, so please master them and you'll be comfortable with Git in almost any workflow. So coming up is a quick recap of everything we've covered and your next step to level up your Git skills. Alright, so let's do a quick recap of what you just accomplished, because it is quite a lot. So we installed Git on our system, we created a GitHub account, we generated and connected SSH keys for secure communication between our local machine and GitHub. We initialized our first local Git repository and pushed it to GitHub using the command line. And lastly, we learned some core Git commands every developer should know. If this was your first time doing any of that, seriously, huge congratulations. You just took your first real step into professional development workflows. This is how 90% of teams build software, collaborate, and manage code all over the world. From here, you can start exploring branches, pull requests, and even working with others on open source projects. Git isn't just a tool, it's a superpower when used very well by everyone involved. If this helped you out, hit that like button so more people can find it. And if you want more beginner-friendly tutorials like this, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Drop a comment with what you want to learn next. I will read every single comment. And you've got this. Keep building, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.